Honestly, most of the time when the women have a gut feeling, it's 90% of the time right. Guys, not so much. Guys is like 45% of the time. My name is Elizabeth. I'm a private investigator in Los Angeles.
My name is John. I'm a private investigator, and I've been so for about 2.5 years.
A lot of people hire PIs, people from all walks of life, every race, gender, age.
I get a lot of stories out of my job.
People ask me, do crazy things happen to you, just because you're a private investigator? Because you're in LA, this is the land of insanity. It's so much fun. Here's one of my horror stories. This woman hired us to see if her husband was cheating. And she calls us saying, my husband's been acting different. He comes home really late at night. I have these weird feelings. One of his female friends, who we've been friends with for a long time, has been acting really strange lately and overly nice. We had to go follow her husband to see if he was cheating. She said, okay, my husband is going to this restaurant. By that time, we already have the description of what he looks like. They send us photos. They send us pictures of the car he would drive. But a lot of the times when they give us a photo, it's like a photo maybe from 5 or 15 years ago. You're trying to see if this person in person looks like he does in the photo. I get to this restaurant where she wants us to follow her husband. And I see the guy, and I'm like, okay, this is the guy, and this is exactly him. It looks just like him. He's got this goatee, and he's sitting with this woman, and they're really flirty. Well, I get a seat over next to them, and I kind of have my camera, and you're being really discreet because you're on your phone. I'm sitting there for at least 45 minutes, and I'm getting so many juicy things, and they're cuddling up, and they're kissing, and I am so excited because I just broke this case. It's done. The woman's gonna be so happy. Go to meet with the woman. It's really sad. She's like crying, and okay, I'm ready to see this. Finally, you set the camera down there, and your phone, and you're like, okay, here's the video, and here's what we saw. And I press play, and she's crying, and all of a sudden she looks at it, and she goes, what? That's not my husband. I'm mortified because I just thought I had done this amazing job on this case. And even the woman who he was with looked exactly like the subject's friend. It was two couples who looked almost exactly alike in the same restaurant at the same time. About a week later, we caught him for real. I got the wrong people, but she was pretty impressed because she said, I've never seen anyone who looks so much like my husband in my life.
It was my first surveillance gig ever. I had to set up and stake out this house a young girl was staying at, and her parents were concerned that she would be doing something, dangerous or illegal. And almost as soon as I pulled up, I see the subject leaving the house on foot. All of a sudden, I'm on foot, I'm walking, and I don't know where I'm walking. This subject goes first to a park known for certain transactions to take place. She sits down and just reads a book for an hour. And then she gets up and she starts walking again. And she's walking through high-end clothing and that sort of thing, and pokes her head into a couple stores, and I have to, enter these stores and maintain a distance, but it's a tight little store, and I'm not a guy who would walk into these stores, keeping an eye on the subject, and then she would leave, so I had to pick up the tail again and follow her. Before I realized that a couple hours have gone by, my car is 8 or 9 miles away. I mean, I barely know where I am. I'm in this environment where I stick out like a sore thumb, so now I look like the weird, shady guy. She turns around, about faces, and begins to walk what appears to be back towards the home where she was staying. And I tipped my hand at one point. She turned a corner. I was trying to catch up with her. As I hit the corner, she comes walking back the other way. So for a split second, we're right there staring at one another. But at that point, I realized I can't risk having that happen again. If she sees me a second time, she might know something is up. I hopped in a ride share, got back to the house, and sure enough saw her approaching the home. At the end of the day, it turned out it was just a young lady who wanted to, get out and see what the city was like for a few days. So it was a happy ending to, a scary story for the parents at least.
So I was on an investigation. The wife hired us and said, I think my husband's cheating. And I was called to be kind of the bait. We're called bait girls, to see if the guy's gonna bite and cheat on his wife. He did really fast. And while we were on our first date, we were sitting there and we were having dinner, and all of a sudden he leans over to me and he's like, I have something to tell you though. And I was like, okay. And he goes, you may not know this, but I'm really smart. And I was like, Yeah, obviously you're really smart, you know, and charming and all of that. And he goes, I know my wife. I think she's hired a private investigator. So I just had to keep, you know, really calm. I was like, oh, really? And he goes, yeah, no, I think she did. And I was like, oh, nobody does that. That's crazy. Do people actually hire PIs these days? And he's like, yeah, but I'm on to her. And I was like, okay. On the third date, he tells me, I just feel like you're actually a PI. But here's the thing, I don't even care. And I still want to date you. And I was like mortified. I try to keep a straight face. I was like, no, I'm not. I do social media. No, I never told him. He had already sent me enough photos that were incriminating enough, though, to where, you know, I was just gonna walk away. It was kind of funny, honestly, because I like catching bad guys, man. It's fun.